Hi fellow game dev, and welcome to this introduction video to the new idle game tutorial series. So third try to make a better version of what we already have on the channel, and this one is gonna be good, I believe, very much. So in this introduction I want to talk about a few topics before you actually go through the series, and those are about making your own game as you are watching the series. The second one is about the video colors, because I'm going to use a color code to organize the different videos in the series so that it is easier for you to know what video you will want to watch or will choose to skip. I want to talk a little bit about the overall content of this series as well, so what you will find in there, so that you do have a rough idea of what is in the series before you start. And I want to talk about the concept of gardeners versus architects. So first, to start with the concept of making your own game. Here I just want to suggest something to you, which is to dissociate the tutorial from making your own game. It is actually a very common project or desire to go through the tutorial and adapt everything from the tutorial to your project or your game idea. While it seems like being a good idea, it's not that good. And I'm saying that because I've been in your position, I've been watching tutorial series before, and trying to take what's in the series to make your game around it doesn't really work well, because as the series is going on, each new video is relying on previous content. So if you do change that content, it will be harder to keep track of what's happening, and you might actually lose on the ability to practice episode, let's say 8 and 10 skills, because you don't have the clean, structured ground to work with those skills in particular. Which is why I suggest to have different projects. I think it's not too much of work to just have your first project for the series. You might change some names for the resources or the upgrades, maybe. But the thing is that you will have a project which is dedicated to the tutorial series, and then when you want to work on your own game, you will be trying to make it on your own by being independent and making your own decisions, creating your own problems and solving those problems without relying too much on the series. Of course, you can watch the episodes to go fetch some snippets of code, some structures, but really the entire thought process should come from you, which is why having two projects could be interesting. The next point I want to talk about is the color code of the videos. So at the moment, I have decided to start with 3 colors. At the moment, you will have the burgundy videos, which are going to be the core videos. So technically, those videos will contain the most important features that you will need to be working on for the game to be built. Those are the main videos you will want to watch. Then in between those burgundy videos, you will find black videos, which are what I name additional tutorials, more in-depth explanations, or additional information. So if you have low programming skills, if you are a beginner, or if you need more explanations on specific topics, this is what these videos are about. Adding extra explanation time about topics which some people will know and some other people don't know. So that if you are an experienced programmer, for example, and are mostly caring about the Godot stuff, then you won't have to watch videos about what are the objects, or what is a class or what is inheritance, etc., etc. So these black videos are going to be here for beginners who want extra explanations, basically. And then we will have the blue videos, which are what I call luxury content, luxury optional features. Those features are basically here to make the game a little bit better, fancier, more fun, funnier, and they are not really necessary for the context of understanding how to make the game. And those are features that some people may choose to add to their game, while some other people may choose not to take care about those features at all. So at the moment, I have planned to make sure that the content of the blue videos are not part of the code of the burgundy videos, so that the burgundy videos are the following flow of code being expanded, and then we will have those blue videos which will come around it. We will explore one topic and make some codes around it, but then in the future burgundy videos, this code will not exist anymore because it has to make sense for those who chose not to watch this blue video, if that makes sense. Here is actually a prototype of the playlist and what it could look like. So the introduction video will be at the very top, and then you will have those two black videos, this first burgundy video and a blue video after it. This is pretty much what it will look like and how you will be able to navigate through this playlist. Now to talk about the overall content, what will be in this series, and how I will be bringing this information to you. Especially at first, in the first videos, I will be explaining the thought process a lot so that you actually understand how I come from a specific problem and what is the path, the thought train that I'm taking to solve this problem. If you already know how to use Godot or how to program, this can be a little bit intense at first with a lot of explanations, but those are explanations which, in my opinion, are very important for beginners, and in my previous series, those explanations were highly appreciated. So as we start, there will be a lot of those, and as we go on in the series, I will have less and less because I will be repeating myself quite a lot, I believe. So at some point I will just stop repeating myself altogether and just say, okay, so this, we saw that in 3 videos already, so we're not going to repeat that. The main point that I'm trying to reach in this series is to actually teach you how to be independent into making your own games so that you're able to come up with your own problems based on the games you want to create, and that you're able to actually solve these problems by yourself. Also, by understanding the process very well, you will be able to go navigate through the tutorial videos and know exactly what you're looking for, and you will be able to browse YouTube videos and find tutorials which fit your needs. So this will make you, yes, more independent overall. So now to talk about architects and gardeners. Well, first define what those two archetypes are, and we will then explain my choice here. If you don't know, those archetypes are taken from the world of writing. We do define 2 types of writers, the gardeners and the architects. These are 2 approaches to creating a novel or a book or a series of books, and they basically are leading to the same place, just with a different practice. But overall, you will tend to, at some point, pick on one practice and at some other points, pick on another practice. You will do both, but you may tend to choose one you prefer. So architects, basically they plan before coding, so they create documents and papers where they visualize the entire project before creating it. And then once it's all set and all drawn on paper, they will produce it. It is very important, especially when you are working in a team and that you have one person who's making the plans, making the blueprints, and then you have other people who are coding it. So it's a very common practice. The thing is that it does require knowledge, because in order to be able to draw and visualize the entire project, you have to be able to visualize it. And visualizing a project as big as a game is a lot of work and knowledge and energy. And you have to be a very good programmer, and you have to know your game engine very well, which is why we will tend to be a gardener here. The concept of gardening is to plant a seed and watch it grow. So you start coding right away and you see how this is leading you. And then once your program is a little bit bigger, that you have a thicker bush, then you will need to tend to it, to cut the unnecessary branches or to add other bushes on the right, on the left. So it is a very different approach, which is very good for prototyping or when you are working on your own. However, it is very easy to mess with gardening. If you have a poor technique, you will quickly have a garden which is completely impossible to maintain. So this is why it is a technique which is easy to begin with and hard to master. It's hard to master because as you are gardening, you have to keep in mind that you have to leave space and room for future features, future updates, future maintainability, bug fixing, etc., etc. So just like architects have to think about all the possibilities beforehand, gardeners, if you want to be a good gardener, you actually have to think about all the possibilities before as well. But the thing is that you actually can make something without having to master it first. So different people do like different styles. In my case, when I'm programming, I'm very much of a gardener. I do sometimes enjoy to be doing some architect stuff, but usually that's the kind of thing I like to do on big projects which already exist and need careful tending, and when I'm paid to do that, which is not very often, to be fair. So anyway, here in this series we will be gardening because first, it is easier to start with, and second, it is much more suitable for a video style. So this is pretty much all there will be in this introduction video. I hope you will enjoy this series. I hope you will learn a lot of things here and that it is a valuable tool that you can use to make your own game, idle game here, and that you actually can expand this knowledge to start learning how to make all that kind of games. So yeah. That's it for me, and I will see you in another video that you choose to watch in the series.